Hi friends, welcome to WebChamp. In this video, I am going to discuss relationship functions in DAX. Okay, let's understand when these functions are useful and when we need to use these kind of functions. So related functions, this function is used to look up the values from related tables. Okay, directly, it will bring the values, it will return the values of any specific column if the relationship between that two table is exist. Okay, so let's see how related work. Then I will discuss what will be the situation. In that case, we need to use the cross filter and user relationship function. So if I come to the Power BI, okay, in case of relationship, okay, so let's say you may wants to look up the value. Okay, you may wants to bring the marital status of customer. Okay, this is what the one example. Any category from this, even you may want to bring the phone numbers of customer to the sales table. This is your actual transaction table. This is your business table. Okay, in this table, so we can bring this phone number based on this relationship. Okay, whatever the relationship we have created here in between sales table and customer table. Based on that relationship, we can use related function to bring the phone number. If I go and if I say related, okay, here I will say phone, and phone is equal to, this is what new column name, it is going to say related, and in the related, if I say the phone, okay, so this function is going to return us the phone number whenever there is a match for the customer ID on which we have created the relationship between two tables. It is going to work. Now the another situation is that, okay, so let's consider we have a relationship between sales table and calendar table based on order date and date. Order date and date. If I come here, if I select any visual, okay, and if I go to this calendar, okay, from the hierarchy, I will select this one. Fine. Now here, if I bring the sum of sales, I created measure in this separate table. Okay, this measure is defined to calculate the sum of sales, right? So if I bring the measure here, it will return me the year-wise sum. Okay, but how the filtering is happening here? Whatever the two columns you have used, okay, if I over the mouse on this relationship line, you will see date column from calendar and order date from sales table is used here to filter the data. Meaning the date column from calendar table is going to filter the data based on the matching dates from matching order dates from sales table. This is how it is going to work. Okay, but in case of sales table, okay, even after there is an order date, there is something called ship date. Okay, on, yes, we know the order date and ship date in every cases it may not be same. So if my ship date is different, and if I wanted to do the calculation on the basis of this column, what you need to do? Either you can go and you can create the relationship. You can go and you can create the relationship. So I will create the relationship between date column of calendar table and ship date of sales table. Okay, but the problem is what? Okay, if you look at the line, if we create more than one relationship between two tables based on the different columns, so it can keep only first created relationship as active, all other relationships will be inactive. All other relationships will be inactive. So in that case, if you want to perform the calculation based on the sales date, we need user relationship function or cross filter function, the relationship functions. These functions help us to perform the calculation based on temporary defined relationship. Temporary defined relationship. So now here it is see this measure is getting filtered by order date automatically. Okay. So if I go and if I create the new measure to perform the calculations, and if I say total sales by ship date, okay, by default it is giving me total sales by order date. So now I am going to define it by the ship date. Okay. And here I will say calculate. What I'm going to calculate, obviously total sales. So I will use the measure directly because inside a measure, the formula is already defined. So now here, in case of this context modifier, okay, whatever the context modifier they have provided in calculate function after the expressions, right? We have seen couple of things related to this, how we can use the functions here to modify. So if I use the user relationship, if I define the relationship between two tables here manually, okay, based on my interested columns, I'm just going to define two columns. And it says that use relationship, okay, not user relationship, my bad. Yes, I read it as a user relationship, but it is actually use relationship. Okay. So use relationship is going to perform the calculation, meaning this function is going to modify your existing relationship. It will modify the relationship for the calculation purpose, for the instance of this calculation only. It is not going to modify the relationship through the model. It will modify the relationship only for this calculation only. And if I hit the enter button, you will get the different numbers. Okay. And if I bring that value here, you will see that, okay, the numbers are little bit changed. Here 32, here 31, here 65, it is 65, but 55 is there. 97, 96 is there. Even 97, 99 is there. This is how it's going to work. This is how it's going to work. Right. So this is the one use of this user relationship function. But when this will work, the user relationship function will work, okay, if there is a inactive relationship. What will happen if there is no relationship? Okay, if I select this and if I delete this, okay, and now if I come here, okay, this throws problem. Even if I click on that measure, see here you can use relationship function can only use two column reference participating in relationship, meaning this works when there is a inactive relationship. At least the relationship must be defined already, but this function we can use to activate the relationship only. Not, we cannot use this for to create the relationship. So we can use this function to activate the relationship. Okay, this is what they actually use. Okay. Instead of this, you can use the another function, that is what cross filter. But when that, even that function is going to work when there is a relationship, even though that is inactive, it is fine, but the relationship is must be already defined. If I come here, now you can see that it is working, even the error has gone. Instead of this function, this use relationship function, I am going to use cross filter function. I'm going to use cross filter function. So if I say cross filter, this is the another function. And this function is used to modify the filter direction. Okay. Let me say here, if I use cross filter, okay, and let me say left column name, right column name, and cross filter type. So if I say this is what my left column name, then if I say the ship date is my right column name, right? And after that, you can specify how the filtering should open or offer, even how the filter should work, in which direction your filter should work. If I say both, it is fine. If you say none, so it is not going to filter in either of the side, this will be null. Okay, even this is not going to filter anything if we define the none. If you say one way, so it will create the single direction function, but you can define specific which one should be able to, meaning you can, instead of creating both, okay, if you need only one direction from left to right, so there is a one way left to right filter direction. Another option is there to one way right filters to left, meaning if you say left filter to right, meaning first table is going to filter to the second table. Okay, based on this. Even if you say right, second is going to filter to the first one. And this is how it works. Okay, if I say one way, it is fine for me. And if I hit the enter button, in the same place, I have modified the relationship. It is going to work here. It is going to work here. Okay. Again, if I go and let me delete this. Okay. You can see that still this is not working, meaning both the functions, okay, both the relationship functions like use relationship or cross filter, both the functions works when you have at least the columns which you have specified in this are participating in relationship. Okay, so now you may have got the clear picture what is mean by participate. No matter whether the relationship is active or inactive, but they must be used to define the relationship between two tables. And for the calculation purpose, you can temporarily active the relationship by using either of function, use relationship or cross filter relationship. Even it allows the even cross filter function allows you to specify the direction, filter direction. So if I come here, you can see that the arrow indicates that calendar filter is going from calendar to sales. But here we have options to define the filter from both the sides. Okay. So even that kind of changes you can make by using cross filter. Use relationship only allows you to define the or activate the relationship, but that will not allow to specify the filter direction. But in case of cross filter function, it activates the relationship and even it allows you to modify the existing filter direction. That is what the cross filter function. And this is the difference between use relationship function and cross filter function. I hope you like the content of this video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a nice day. Please do not forget to subscribe web channel.